Hello everyone, welcome back. So in our Appium series, today we are going to see how we can scroll horizontally and vertically by using the Appium Java. So we have already seen these concepts in our previous sessions, but today I'm taking another mobile application to see a different perspective and how easily we can experience the scroll mechanism. Okay, so for this we will be using the sequence class actually in the Appium, because if you would have seen the touch actions class is deprecated into the Appium 8.x, which we have seen in our previous video, right? That there were a couple of changes happened and then we could not able to use the touch actions for our scrolling, but the UI selector for Android and mobile scroll for iOS still stays valid only, but you have to write two different mechanisms for Android and iOS, right? So for that reason, just to give you guys a recap, if you would have seen that we have used this to get the dimensions, and then if you see here, we were using the pointer input and the sequence class to perform the scroll operation. In our previous session we have quickly seen how to use this particular method, but today we are going to in detail what are the each steps and then how easily we can understand these concepts so that it won't look like complex. Okay, so that is what we are going to do, and I will be showcasing you a little bit every details of this this pointer input and sequence mechanism, so that you can understand how you can handle different scroll operations. Okay, and this is cross platform, you can use the same method for your Android and iOS as well. Okay, so the first thing I will be creating, I will be taking this particular application. This is WebDriver IO application. If you want to see that, let me show you how it looks like, and you can get this the native demo application from the WebDriver IO project. Okay, and they have for Android and iOS both actually. So now let me grab all the details that is required, like all the capabilities. I'm using Appium 2.x and the Appium Java client 8.x. Okay, so my driver is set. Now the next thing is that I need to make sure that I will be clicking on this swipe option. You can see the first time when you launch, it will be coming here. After that you need to click on this swipe. Now there are two ways you can scroll. One is you can vertically you can scroll like this from up to down, and also you can horizontally from left to right, right to left, you can even swipe it. Now that is what we are going to see. So far we have seen up to down only, but now we will see how we can write the method so that the same method we can use for all kind of direction swipes. Swipe and scroll is pretty much same, there is no difference, because swipe is the gesture and now it in turns make you to scroll something. Okay, fine then. So now let me try to click on that particular swipe. So driver dot find element, and I will be using Appium by, because that is where actually this particular Appium actually uses. Before it was mobile by, now you have to use the Appium by, and then accessibility ID. Now how do you know that? You can open the your Appium inspector. Now I'm taking the iOS application. Now these are all the capabilities we have already discussed, and this is the bundle ID which I already identified. Now click on the start session and you will see an error by saying that the Appium server is not running. For this, let me run the Appium. I have already installed the Appium 2.x. Now you should see the Appium, you can see version 2.0 beta version. Okay, fine. Now because Appium is running, I should be able to launch the mobile screen into this Appium inspector to inspect the elements. Okay, and you can get to know this one, and you can see swipe is the accessibility ID. Always try to use the accessibility ID. XPaths are not recommended a lot because they take a lot of time. Okay, so now I'm into this particular screen. Now the concept is that I can scroll actually after this. Okay, now to use this particular mechanism, right, like which we discussed here, let me do one thing. So I'll copy paste for time being now this one, and I will be putting this one into a new method down, and let's say that I will tell the concept as this one. Okay, so protected static something. Let me quickly import all the classes so that you won't get any other errors. Okay, so this is basically the swipe operation where we need to really do that. Do the actual swipe operation, but this need actually the start and end, what you call your point actually, from where to where actually you have to really scroll. Now, if you see in your scroll mechanism, right, I want to scroll down. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to swipe up actually. There means from bottom to up you need to move your gesture or your finger so that it will scroll down. That is the concept, or to whichever direction you want to scroll, opposite wise you need to swipe it. Now that is the first concept you need to really keep it in mind. Now for that we need to really find it out, a couple of scenarios, like the points basically, like where exactly you need to touch, or like start your finger touch and then you have to move up. Now for this I will be explaining this method in a moment. Okay, but let me create first those points, this point right where you want to really start it. So let me just put this public static, and then I will say void scroll, and then here I will be taking two parameters. I will be telling you that later, but let's first get the points. How do you get the points? So the first thing is that I need to get the dimension of that particular screen, actually screen, and I will make it as equal to, you need to take the driver actually. Now this driver object is this one, right? So I will call this class dot driver. Don't worry, I will show you in our what you call in framework how do you fit it also there. So I will say manage dot window dot get size. Now this will give you the dimension. Dimension is nothing but like your the length and width actually of that. Length is nothing but the height and width, I would say that. Even we can print it also so that you can see that. So I will say size, that's it. Now the next thing is that I need to get the points. Now what is that point? Now the first thing is that I will get the midpoint. Like midpoint in this sense, if you go here, this is my midpoint, and x-axis and y-axis, that is what I want to first get it. So that is where actually I will be using the point class. Okay, and I will say that midpoint equal to, and I will be getting new point. So I will be creating an object of that. Now this accepts the x-axis and y-axis. How do I get my what do you call that particular midpoint? Now let's say that I want to get the midpoint of my height, actually this entire height. Let's say that this is 10 centimeter. Okay, in pixel wise let's talk. Let's say that from here to here the pixel is 100 pixels. In that I want to get the mid pixel. That means that it is the center is by 2, right? Now see, when I'm talking about the height, right, it can be this point, it can be this point, it can be this point, right? But first let's get that particular point actually. What is the midpoint from here to here? Now that is where actually I'm getting size dot height. Okay, so size dot height, it's a property here. Now size dot height multiplied by 0.5, it means that I'm getting the midpoint of the height, and then I will have to convert that into int because sometimes it will give me a different type as well. And then I will say size dot, I will say width. Width is again another property, and then I will say 0.5, 0.5. Okay, and then comma, and then this is what actually. Now if you see this one, I already got the midpoint here. How I will show you? See, size dot width of 0.5 means if I go here, if you see, so width is this one, right, from here to here. Now midpoint, so anywhere in this midpoint, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here. Now that is what I got it. And then the size dot height by 2, so it can be any one of this point which I discussed. Now let me show you that in a xy axis column actually here, now in a graph actually. So you can see that see, when I'm taking the height by 2, right, it can be any one of these point, okay, and when I'm taking the width by 2, it can be any one of this point. Now when I'm taking both together, then I will be getting this point actually, okay. So from the width by 2 and height by 2, so I got the midpoint is nothing but the center of this. Now after I got the midpoint, now the next thing is that I need to get from where to where I need to scroll. So what is the starting point of mine, because this need the starting point and an ending point. Now as I told, if I want to scroll down, I need to swipe it up actually, means from bottom to up actually I need that. It means that I need the starting point is this one actually, the bottom is my starting point. So for this, let me just add something here. So here I will say int, I will say bottom equal to, now I will, how do I calculate the bottom actually? So there is a concept, midpoint dot y, okay. Midpoint is what actually? Midpoint is the center, right? Now center plus something I will be doing here, means see, normally what happens, don't really look into the graph. If you see, if you would have seen the graph, right, here all are coming as minus, but in real time, as I told, if this is my 100 pixels, right, the mid is 50. Now 50 plus 10 if I am doing, then it is the bottom, or 50 plus 20, 50 plus 30, if I am doing that, then this bottom point is coming. Then 50 minus 20, 50 minus 30, then it will be the another point. Like for an instance, if I go to the, let me go to a drawing so that it would make more sense. So I'll come here and let me draw a particular, like a pseudo mobile here, let's say. Now let's say that this midpoint is, let's say that 50 50, because 50, let's say that it is 20. So it means that let's say this is my what do you call, 40 is my length, and this is 100. So it means that now the center point, this is my center point, right? So center point is 50 comma 20. Now 50 is nothing but my y-axis, 20 is my x-axis. This is actually reverse I need to do. Maybe I will just write 20 comma 50, okay. So 20 is my x, so this is my x point, and this is my y point. So this is what it is coming. Now here I need to get the bottom point. Let's say my bottom point is this one and my up point is this one. So now from the bottom to up, I want to first do the swipe actually. This is my swipe. Here I will be swiping. When I swipe it, then the scroll will happen in this direction. It's always reverse, keep that in mind. I need to find it out, this bottom point. 20 will remain fixed because that is my x-axis. X-axis I don't want to change it, I want to keep this 20. So this is like 0, then 10, 20, then it is 30, it is 50. Like that it is calculated. Now here 0, and let's say that 25, 50, 75, and then 100, right? So this is my 75 point. It means that how this point would be, this point will be 20 comma 75, and now here if you see that this would remain 20 comma 25. You can see it means that this 50 minus something I need to do to get the top position. To get the bottom position, I need to plus something. Exactly, this is the concept. I need to use it here actually. So now midpoint dot y. So see, bottom I want to, means I want to plus it. Okay. So midpoint dot y dot what size I need to do. So for this, I will say midpoint dot y. See, I don't want to do exactly midpoint dot y plus y. Then what will happen, you know, it will take to the bottom of the screen, and I don't want to take the scroll from here to here. You can see there is a bottom navigation bar, so somewhere here I need to do, so that I can do a smooth scrolling here. Okay, so that is why, let's say I want to take the 80% of that particular, or maybe 75. So I will say that 0.75%, and I need to now int, I need to cast it. Okay, so that is how I need to take. Now the same thing, I need to take the top position here. Now let's say the top midpoint y minus I will be doing. I'll show you that into this screen actually here. What am I doing here? So I am saying that 50 plus it is the 75% of the 50. Now 50 is 75% is coming nearly 25 plus 12, so 37 or something it is coming. So 50 plus 37, so which is around 80 or something. So that's where I got the bottom point here. You can see midpoint dot y. So this 75% is basically telling from here to here how much percentage you want to go down actually. Let's say that from here to here it is 100%. Now in this 100%, which point you want to take it? I'm taking 75%. If you want to do a slow, a little bit of scrolling, so you can do here maybe 40% of that. If it is 20%, so from here to here only your finger will be going there. That is the concept, and it is very important to understand that. Now midpoint dot y minus 70%. Now the same concept, if it is coming plus, here it is minus. Now these two I will be sending here. So starting is my bottom point and the end point is my top point. And you can see that this is the point, right? Now this point I need to now change that into a new point, because see these are the point. Int means what? These are my x point and y point, right? Now I can convert that into a particular point actually there. So like for an instance, let's say that point I will say start equal to, now starting point is what? Actually this bottom point, right? Now this one I need to convert that into my point. Point is always the x-axis, y-axis. This is at this moment I just got the y-axis only, means what is my y-axis, what is my y-axis top. But I need to now set the x-axis and x and y point. So the point means x and y actually always. Like here you can see x-axis and y-axis I taken, right? I will tell you what am I doing here. So new point, and I will be saying what is my x-axis. X-axis always retains same only, that is nothing but midpoint dot x. This remains constant actually, because I want to scroll from bottom to up only, comma I will be taking this bottom, as simple as that. So this is my starting point. Now I will be taking point end equal to, I will take the same thing only, but instead of that I will be taking the top. Okay, now these two start point and end point, right, I will be taking inside this actually here. So here I can call actually scroll, swipe. I will tell swipe. Now what is my starting point? Again you send that start point here, comma end point, okay, comma you need to give the duration. Now let's say that I want to take the duration as 300 millisecond. Now dot of milliseconds, that is 300. I'm taking that. Now when I call this scroll method, right, now this will be in turn calling the swipe method by calculating the start point and end point. So whenever you are scrolling from up to top to bottom or bottom to up, right, your x-axis will remain as it is only. You don't really need to worry about that. Okay, fine then. Now if I call, now here let's understand this swipe method quickly. Now here what we need to do, see in a real time, actually this concept is not required now. Before there was some issues, so that's why we were using the Android and iOS stuff. Now we are taking a strict 300 milliseconds for Android and iOS scrolling. Actually duration is nothing but how fast or how slow you can take. See, this is too fast. Now slow means I'm taking 3 seconds to 3 millisecond to scroll it actually. So you can play with that, no problem with that. Okay, so now we will be using the pointer input. What is pointer input? It means that I need to give a particular pointer actually. See, if this is my real device, let's say, how do you start your scrolling? You will put your finger first, right? So that is my pointer input. So that's what I'm doing. So pointer input, I'm creating an object. What kind of pointer input is that? So it's a touch, right? So touch, there are a lot of gestures are there: touch, pinch, lot of like this. So touch is my one. Now touch in terms of what actually? So you will have to give a particular name here. If you go to this particular class, right, you can see what kind and then what is the name. I have to give some name. So I'm giving a finger. Now because it is only one finger I am touching it. So what you do, you come here and then you put your finger, touch it, and then you go up, right? So that is why I'm giving a finger 1 here. Now I'm taking the sequence class actually. Now the sequence class object I'm creating as a swipe. Now new sequence, I'm creating an object. Now this sequence need 2 parameters again. Now the device and then the initial length. Now the device, that is the device is nothing but the input source. The input source is what actually? This pointer input, okay, that finger touch. So I'm taking that as parameter here, and the length I'm just taking as 0 only. There is no what you call parameter is really required, any other integer actually there. Fine. Now I will be doing the action. Now what action you will do that? After you touch here, you will be swiping across actually towards top, right? And then you will release your finger. That is exactly these 4 lines are doing. Now swipe dot add action. See, swipe is nothing but the pointer, the sequence actually. Now you will be giving sequence of actions, like in touch actions we were giving that. So I'm taking the input means on this finger I'm creating a pointer move, because you have to move, right? So they are creating this behavioral methods. Duration dot 0, I don't want to wait for anything, immediately I need to start the move actually. Now what kind of move? Across my viewport is nothing but this entire what you call screen which is visible. Now what actually, where you want to move actually, okay, that is where actually the start dot x and start dot y, because it is point, right? I can get the dot x and dot y coordinate, right? X and y. See here I'm taking actually this particular point actually. This point involves the x and y coordinate, right? That is what exactly I'm doing, because this create pointer move need 3 things. Okay, what is that duration means and then what exactly, where exactly on my viewport, where exactly want to do. So that is my starting point and ending point. What is my starting point and ending point? This one actually. This is where actually we have discussed, right? From here we need to start. So that's why this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. That is what it is taking. Then what I need to do? Then I need to take the create pointer down. It means that that touch action involves a point and then what exactly you are doing. Now touch is what actually? So touch is kind of a clicking here, right? So you are clicking and then going it. That is why it is coming as left. You mean to say, let's say that I'm doing into this, what you have to do? So you first come here, right? You move your mouse here, then you click and then you go up, right? That is what it is telling. So mouse buttons left click, I am doing it, then I am moving it. See, normally these are what actually? These are like automation, right? So they are mocking actually the action of the computer actually, whether you are keypad, your mouse pad, or in anything, you have to move your pointer, then you click it, then you move up, right? What kind of click? That is my left click. Now you see this move and down, exactly opposite you need to do here. So move, first see, you move and down, so you put your down, it means that left click. Then you need to move up actually, up towards what actually? End x and end y, means the left click you did and then you are moving to the end x and end y coordinate. Then you need to do what? You need to do what actually? Pointer up, means after you moved here, right, you need to release it. That is what am I doing here? Up in the sense release the left click. Okay, so after you are releasing that, all this sequence you want to now perform it, because so far we have only written these things, we haven't told that you implement this. Now that's where actually I'm taking the driver object, okay, and this driver object I will be taking dot perform. See, normally what happens, this driver whatever you are seeing, right, this is a Appium driver, so you don't need to really cast it. I mentioned this one because normally what happens, sometimes you will be taking this driver automatically. You see, this driver is basically iOS driver. Now Android and iOS driver don't have this particular perform method. Actually, you have to always cast it to the Appium driver. So that is one thing you need to keep it in mind. So dot perform what? All these actions. So immutable list of swipe. Now you can see the swipe is having this chain of actions, right? That is what I'm saying, that immutable list of swipe in this sense all these add actions will be performing it. In touch action also we were performing and build and perform, right? Same thing we are doing. So it is kind of a replacement of your touch action. And now if it executes, then it does the actual scrolling. Let's see if it works fine or not. So after I am swiping here, right, I clicked on this swipe button. Sorry. So let me again open it, this application. So first it will launch here. So now let's, for a moment, let's forget all these actions whatever we discussed. Let's come back to the actual Appium code. So I launched my Appium application, then I'm clicking on the swipe button. Swipe button is this one actually, into this bottom navigation bar. Then I'm doing the scroll operation. So I will be doing the scroll operation, scroll sequence dot scroll. That's it. I don't need to really specify because I have already specified everything here. Now let's quickly run this particular thing. So I have the Appium server running. My simulator is ready. All the details I have put here. Now let's run this main method. And you can see that now it scrolled. Now we taken from here to here, that's why it did a full scroll. If you don't want to do a 75% scroll here, right, you can put it as 30%, 40%. Percent is nothing but like 0.30, 0.40, 0.50, like that you can do that to have a slow scrolling. Actually sometimes this slow scrolling is required in your contact screen. Let's say that you are doing something here, there is a contact screen is there, you can't simply scroll like this, right? You have to scroll like slowly one by one so that you can see the names and everything, and you can perform certain action. Or you want to fetch the list of contacts, you can't simply scroll a bigger in a full scroll, right? That is how you need to slow or fast. When you give more, it would be a bigger scroll. When you do less, then it would be a slow scrolling. Fine. Now see, this is top to bottom, right? Now how do I do from left to right? Actually, like if you go to this, right, oops, not this app, and then here also you can do this scrolling also, right? Now here also you can make it. It's a very simple. See, now x-axis we kept it constant, right, from top to bottom. Now we want to make sure that the left and right. So I will copy paste this one. I'll tell you that what am I going to do that. So I will say I need to get the left and I need to get the right. Okay, now what is exactly this? Now this means that, let's say that it is my beginning position. Let me come back to the beginning position. Okay, now let's say from here to here I need to scroll. Okay, I need to scroll from left to right. It means that my swipe has to be right to left. Okay, that is what I am going to do. Now when you are doing left, right, left position is what? Actually this is my left position, right? Means my x-axis will change, y-axis will remain same. Y-axis is what? Actually 50. Means I want somewhere the point is this point, my left, and this is my right point. So here the left point would be somewhat, let's say that 8, 50, and then here this would be like, let's say that 37, 50, somewhat like this. Actually I want these points, okay, left and right, so that I can swipe from here to here. That is what actually we are going to do. Fine. So now left means before, right? It means that I need to create this point here. So now here I will be taking this one, and for now I will be commenting this because start end will be different, right? So this is my starting point and this is my ending point, and here I will say left and this is my right. Okay, left means I will always do a minus, okay, and this should always remain x actually here, not y, and then here x, and the same thing I will take x and here x, that's it, and this has to be plus actually here. Fine. And now start means what it is. Start means I will be taking the midpoint of, see here it would be reverse actually, so I will be taking the left, actually I need to right, from right side I need to take, and this would be midpoint dot y, and the same thing here, midpoint dot y, and this has to be my left. Okay, so the concept here is that when you are taking up down, right, your x-axis remains constant. Okay, when you are taking right to left, right, your y-axis will remain constant. Always see that in these two parameters, the left side is your x-axis, right side is your y-axis. Common concepts, one or two times if you do, you will be get habituated with that. Fine. Now let me try to scroll again. The same concept only, I will be launching the application, clicking on the swipe, and then I will be taking this particular scroll, actually this one. So let me move here, let me do one thing, one or two scrolls I will do so that you can really feel that. So I will say thread dot sleep, and then I will put 1 second so that you can see each scrolling. My Appium server is running, so let me open the simulator and run the test. And you can see one scroll and two scroll. You see from here to here you swiped, that's where actually the data is coming here. So that is how you will be always doing. The swipe is always opposite to the scroll direction. Okay, so you can see that here one thing we did, always we are like commenting something and uncommenting something, right? But why can't we make it as a generic actually? What exactly this scroll does? This scroll does different directions, right? Down, towards up, towards right, towards left, all these concepts. So what we can do, we can put a particular direction here so that the user can really mention that. In a sense, I will be putting a kind of, like if you see this code, right, here we have taken one enum actually here. So I will be taking this enum, let me put it here. Okay, so I'm taking an enum, this enum will give me 4 directions, so I will be taking that, accepting that here actually. So I will say scroll down direction, so I will be taking this one direction, comma, I will take another thing also, that is scroll ratio. I will tell you what is this scroll ratio. This scroll ratio is nothing but this one. I want to even give it to the user to put this one actually. I don't want to hard code here. Okay, and always make sure that you need to give 0 to 1. So for that reason I will be keeping a if condition. Fine, that is one thing. And now the next thing is that, see, I don't want to play like this actually. I need to first give the bottom, top, left, right and everything, so I don't need to really worry about that. So I will remove this one as well. Now this start and end point, you can see that what is different, bottom, top, left, right is remaining constant, whether you do what you call up to bottom or bottom to up, left, right and everything. The only thing that is we are commenting and uncommenting is this start and end, right? Means when you want to particular direction, if you want to update it, your start and end direction is changing. Means if I am taking a scroll from right to left, right, so then the start point is my right, end point is left, right? So we can put a if condition there, and that is what exactly we have done that. So I will put that into this, I will show you that if condition, and then we will see this is what actually we are taking. And I will remove this one. This is actually in that framework which we did, right? That's why it is coming, but don't worry about that. And this scroll duration is nothing but here actually. Scroll duration is the 30 seconds anyway we have taken, so I don't really care about that. So this is basically this one actually. So I'll tell you what exactly we can do here. So the scroll duration I will be taking here, and I will say duration, and I will say scroll duration equal to this one. That's it. Okay, now that error is gone here, and this is actually left is small l and right is small r. Fine, now you can see, and this one actually I don't need. Now this concept, whatever we read, right, that is what exactly we are doing in an if else condition. I will tell you, I will explain that. See, scroll direction up means towards up. Actually we want to scroll. It means that the scrolling is not down actually. Like let's say you are here, now you want to scroll up, so like this, it means that from top to bottom you are coming. See, exactly that is what I'm doing. Top is my starting point, bottom is my end point. So from here to here you are scrolling. When you want to scroll down, means scrolling direction is down. Down means you have to reverse actually. You can see it is scrolling down from bottom to up actually when you are doing. That is how. Always reverse actually. Left, when you are scrolling down, left actually. Left in this sense, I will show you that. So let's here come back here. So here you want scroll direction is left. Scroll direction is left means where left, towards left means you want to scroll here, means from here to here you want to get it. So how do I call it? Now let's say that I want to do different scrolling. Now I will be pausing here, so I will show you that how do I really do that. Let's say that you want to scroll here from what do you call, down, towards down you want to scroll. Oops, sorry, towards down you want to scroll. So here what you need to mention, that you need to specify this one, scroll. So this scroll method. Okay, so here now this need two options, right? The scroll direction. Now the scroll direction, what actually I want to do down actually. So you don't really need to mention this manually, right? That's why I'm creating this enum, which direction you want. And then scroll ratio. Scroll ratio is nothing but from how much you want to scroll, like from here to here you need to start, or a big scrolling you need. Now let's say that the scroll ratio I want to go for, let's say 0.4, because it is a double, right? So it will scroll like this. Now you, like at the beginning it is like this, right here, and then let's say that after I will do a small scrolling 0.2 actually, then I want to horizontally. Now how do you horizontally do that? Scroll direction, which direction you want to go? You want to go left, right, towards, that is why you want to specify that, and you can specify anything here. Now if you do this, actually it will be doing two directions. First it will be going towards down, and then it will go from right to left. Let's put some weight actually here, so that you can really feel that 2-second weight I'm taking. So after it scrolled down, right, I need to make it as a top actually, like this. So here I will again move it up actually, and then in between let's put some weight, and let's keep it as 1 second. So it will first go down to showcase you, then it will go up so that it will move to the original position, then it will scroll horizontally. Let's run this. Now it should go down to set the original position, then it should scroll. Okay, I think we have taken an opposite way actually. So there is nothing actually towards left to scroll, right? So that is why I need to scroll direction is right, means right side I have the scope of scrolling. So that is what actually I need to do here. So right, and then let's rerun it. Okay, as you can see it went towards right. So this direction is nothing but where exactly your scope is there. So that is how you will be setting up your scroll directions. And exactly these two concepts, right, this scroll, swipe, and then how to call. Now in any kind of framework you can simply use these concepts to call it. You don't really need to worry about now these things. Why we are understanding this? In case of if any new versions of the Appium is coming, or they are changing anything, you should be able to update your framework to see where exactly we need to change. Let's say tomorrow they are changing the way that the dimension is calculated, so you will come to know that okay, this is the line where I need to change it. So it is important to understand the concepts here. So hope this gives you an idea, and also the same concept will be applicable to your Android application as well. The WebDriver IO does give you the Android Android application exactly same way, no changes required. It's just that you need to only change this XQE test option to your to the Android UI automator actually. Okay, so hope that helps and gives you an idea about what is the scroll operation, how do you perform the up, down and left, right, or the horizontal and vertical swipe. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Please do subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't. Thank you for watching.